So in this video, we're going to see Representative Jasmine Crockett expose the hypocrisy of Donald Trump and the GOP on their record when it comes to protecting women's rights. And she's actually going to expose and show the truth when it comes to Republicans and women's rights. As usual, let's watch this video in full and I'll give you guys my thoughts towards the end.
Thank you so much. It is so interesting that I just learned today at 44 years old that the Republicans are going to be the ones to save women. The same Republicans that have been, say, for Women's Reproductive Acts, or the same Republicans that have stood for the Equal Rights Act, which would hopefully get women to equal pay, or the same Republicans that just this Congress voted for the SAVE Act, which we know would disenfranchise women from even being able to vote. But let me tell you, they are our saviors, and so I am so happy to be here today, because otherwise I would not have an idea that I had a savior in the Republicans. So let's also talk about the fact that it's only been 100 days, 100 long, terrible days for anybody that absolutely believes in reality, because what we know is that they have terminated staff responsible for enforcing federal protections against sex-based discrimination. Sounds like that's pro-women. Or they've cut funding for domestic violence survivor services. Sounds pro-woman to me. Or they've prohibited funding for research affecting women's health. That definitely sounds pro-women to me. Essentially, they closed the Department of Education's Office of Civil Rights. Again, sounds like they are fighting for us. And instead of providing oversight over these actions, congressional Republicans have been working to execute one of the most aggressive anti-women legislative agendas in history. And yet, they're here today trying to convince the American people that discriminating against trans people is somehow the only way to protect women. This hearing has nothing to do with improving government efficiency. It's another attempt by Republicans to distract from their demonic and disastrous policies that are making it more difficult for Americans to make ends meet. So, Ms. Goss-Graves, I want to play a game. It's called Trump or Trans. You ready?
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to tell me whether or not it is Trump or trans people that are responsible. You understand?
Got it.
Okay, very good. The first one, gutted medical research.
Trump.
Kidnapping Americans and sending them to foreign countries, a.k.a. deporting them.
Trump.
Driving us into a recession.
Trump.
Increasing the cost of everything.
Trump.
Waging an idiotic tariff war.
Trump.
Harming farmers.
Trump.
Ignoring the Constitution.
Trump.
Proposing to take away Social Security.
Trump.
Cutting health care.
Trump.
Firing government workers who keep our country safe.
Trump.
Encouraging an environment of hate and divisiveness.
Trump.
Thank you so much. This committee could be engaged in actual oversight of fraud, waste, abuse, and mismanagement. So let's talk about waste. Like Trump's plan to spend almost $100 million for his little birthday parade, or how he spent 25% of his first 100 days golfing, costing taxpayers tens of millions of dollars. In fact, it's a little bit over $30 million at our last estimation. In fact, President Trump is on pace to spend more than $1 billion of taxpayer dollars just on golfing. Yet the Republicans have been silent. So they must think spending taxpayer dollars on the president's golfing trips is more important than providing health care to their constituents. And when I talk about constituents, we're going to talk about the ones on this committee. So if we look at Texas 26, 39,000 children look to potentially lose their Medicaid with the cuts that they are about to vote on for reconciliation. 88,000 in Georgia 3, 68,000 in Missouri 7, 79,000 in Tennessee 2, 86,000 in South Carolina 4, 50,000 in Texas 04, 85,000 in Texas 27, and in Georgia 14, 111,000. And if you add that up just on this committee, we have 606,000 kids that are relying on us to do right by them. And instead, we playing these crazy games because we worried about 10 trans folk that are in sports right now in college. I wasn't elected to be engaged in these fights. I was elected to make sure that those kids, the kids that they are about to neglect with these terrible votes that they're about to take, I was elected to protect them and to make sure that they could grow up and have all the opportunities. But let's keep on track. Now, when we look at how much they are spending on, let's look at fraud. We could investigate whether the White House and the members of this subcommittee engaged in insider trading and market manipulation. Maybe it's a coincidence that the chairwoman brought hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stock the day before Trump announced a 90-day pause on tariffs. But I guess we'll never know. So finally, let's talk about abuse. Like how the Republicans have let Elon steal data of Americans and his competitors to make himself even richer. Look, don't let these hearings distract you from their destruction. This is rage baiting instead of conducting oversight over the issues that Americans actually care about. And with that, I will yield.
Honestly, Jasmine Crockett, she's a superstar. You guys will know if you've been around this channel any amount of time that I am a massive, massive fan of Jasmine Crockett. And I really do believe that the Democratic Party over in the United States of America need to take a page out of her book. So many things that it is that she said that I really would like to touch on. But most definitely, look, we have seen the attack on the trans community go to a whole new level of lately. But why is it that so many times people really miss the real cause of a lot of problems when it comes to a lot of different things? We see attacks on immigrants, we see attacks on trans, we see attacks on so many different things, but people often overlook the real individuals and the real people that are causing the actual problems. And why is it that it always comes back down to wealthy people, wealthy individuals that are actually out here causing real problems? Why is it that it's consistently the case? I just done a little bit of research based off what it is that Jasmine Crockett was saying in this video, and some of the things that it is that she highlighted in terms of, you know, Trump or trans that's really hurting women in America and the rest of the GOP as well, hurting women. Some of the things, so one of them, attacks on reproductive rights, you know, restricting abortion access. We've seen that this has been something that has been big for the right for a very, very long time. They want to strip women of the right to be able to access abortions if and when they need it. We've seen that they are looking at ways to be able to ban certain birth control and also ban IVF as well. They've been doing things like defunding women's health programs as well. So they're going to be taking a look at different types of things and programs that help women. And they're looking at defunding them. Why are they looking to defund these programs? We already know the reason as to why. Because they're looking to prepare a way and a strategy to be able to pass a major tax cut for the richest people in the United States. And we know that's the reason as to why. Some of the other things that it is that they've done are things like cuts to SNAP and food assistance. This can affect disproportionately women and children, and it's going to threaten the food security for millions of Americans all across the world. All across the United States. And then also federal layoffs and attacks on women workers. You know, we've seen that this is not the party that are here to look after and to defend the rights of women. All it is that these guys do is virtue signal, rage bait to be able to roll up their base, get people angry. And then while people are angry and showing their frustration, Republicans will be in the background doing things that's going to help the richest of the rich. That is the reason as to why you saw at the end of the video when Jasmine Crockett's one of her staff held up the placard that showed that Marjorie Taylor Greene was able to increase her wealth because of insider trading. But this is what's going on in the United States of America and with the right and the Republican Party. As usual, guys, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below this video. Always want to hear your guys' thoughts. And if you like this video, do me a massive favor and hit the thumbs up button. I always appreciate when I get feedback from you guys. And last but certainly not least, if you are brand new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also turn on the bell notification so you get notified every single time we upload a brand new video. And with that being said, I appreciate you guys and I will see you guys in the next one.